But at the end of the day, whether you like the commentator or not, he is still protected by the Soto law not to reveal a source.
Yes.
With that, do you agree?
Well, lumabas po yun during the hearing, and I do understand the Soto law. But there is an exception in the Soto law that when
Which
it
is
comes
what?
to national security, diba po?
But what makes that national security? I mean, I'm calling out a public official, regardless if it were the speaker or not, on trips spent. And the reason I know this is because radio commentators from mainstream media have done it with past presidents.
Yes.
Hindi naman sila pinatawag sa hearing.
Yes po. I understand that.
Because
so
what makes, on this particular end, what makes Congress the editorial chief of a free press?
So, okay, with that, hindi naman po, sabi ko naman po rin when I did the sponsorship speech of this is not a oppression of the freedom of the press. But kung meron silang mga violations, they have to be accountable for that.
I agree. I absolutely agree. This is not about you.
Yes.
This is really just as a whole.
Yes.
This is as a whole, right? If the commentator didn't hit on the speaker, would Congress have acted? If he, let's say, hit an opposition person, somebody irrelevant to the supermajority, would Congress have come to the defense of the free press or disinformation?
But this stem from various resolutions na po. No.
Yeah. But
and
no, my answer my question.
Yes.
Would the supermajority in Congress, as I say, I have no love lost here for SMNI, but this is a matter of principle. If it was not the speaker who was hit, would congressmen have acted in the same manner?
Like I said, so hindi lang po naman yun kasi yung nandoon sa resolution po. Meron din pong pagkatama sa may mga ibang resolutions po rin na na-file on this red tagging, on this misinformation.
So let's talk about red tagging. I'm curious. The irony of this is SMNI's 2019 franchise, the franchise was renewed in 2019.
Yes,
okay. Your brothers sponsored the franchise renewal of SMNI.
Yes.
Right? So we're talking about now Secretary Carlo Nograles when he was in Congress and Jericho Nograles. They sponsored the SMNI renewal.
Yes.
Didn't they spot the violations before they sponsored it?
Well, when you sponsor something and when Congress does something, syempre it's a privilege that's given, right? This has nothing to do with who has authored it. Now it has to do with binigyan kayo ng privilege. You're supposed to be following.
But I agree. I have no debate on that.
Yes.
The issue I'm asking is, I agree with your principles completely. So it leads me to this question. Isn't franchise revocation or renewal really just used at times? It's about who sits in power. Because, I mean, let me move back. I've asked this. ABS situation is different in the sense that the franchise expired. But that's a mainstream media network that it could have been renewed. But the powers at be didn't want. So, ang tanong ko nga ito, if these violations have been going on, weren't these spotted by the very congressmen, two, your brothers, and the other colleagues you work with today?
Yes.
Did they spot this? In other words,
that time,
the violations were going on, and let's just renew them anyway.
Well, I cannot speak on behalf of the past Congress po. What we're looking into now is that there are violations that's happening. And wala po ako magagawa kung sila po, di ba, nag-sponsor po na to at pinasa po ng past Congress. And I'm not saying anything that mali yung ginawa ng past Congress to do that. It's within their right to pass it. We're looking into what's happening now, and we are seeing violations. So let's not get maybe let's not get confused here na iba po yung, okay, in the past Congress, this was renewed, yes. But right now, we're looking into violations na because there are violations that we are seeing.
And of the violations, what is the strongest? What is the strongest violation that would merit a revocation? Because to comment on he's wrong. Okay, clearly he was wrong in the facts, but that doesn't alone constitute a revocation. Because there's so many commentators that are wrong, right?
Yes.
It happens, right? So, ang tanong ko, what is the strongest and clearest violation of the franchise?
Well, hindi po nagsisimula ang pag-hear po with regard to the revocation. So, wag natin pangunahan po because that's another hearing. What we did and what we adopted is our resolution to urge NTC because of the violations, that possible violations on their franchise. So that would be for another hearing naman po on the House bill that was filed on the revocation.
And I think another issue for many people today is you have Congress now fighting against this information. But during the past administration, this information was actually, it was tolerated.
I can't speak for the past congressman.
Right. So you have the same people angry with this information today, but it was used against journalists, opposition lawmakers. This information was used for the past 6 years. It was tolerated by Congress.
That's the previous Congress po, Ms. Karen, and I can only say really with regard to the resolution that I filed that we adopted. As per that, I cannot really speak on behalf of the other congressmen and the past Congress po as much as wala po talaga, hindi po ako abogado po nila. And I'm only just one vote in Congress and simply dito lang po tayo sa resolution ko, even with a heavy heart, nagadabaw din po ako na yun yung lumalabas. I cannot be silent naman po kung may nakikita tayo mga violations. Kaya nga po, suspendin po muna natin, which is within the power of NTC. Wala po kami magagawa dyan. As regard to the revocation, we have yet to see what will transpire in the hearings to come regarding that.
All right. On that note, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. And thank you for being a good sport. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Congresswoman Margarita Nograles. Thank you.
So, essentially, that's why we are urging NTC to suspend muna habang nakikita natin na ang niloloko-loko tayo dito. It's summary lang para pakita po natin sa taong bayan ang mga violations that we have seen so far. Not just their franchise on Section 4, Section 10, Section 11, mukhang ngayon pati Section 12. Pati ang highest law of the land, ang Constitution natin, dalawang articles. Article 12 and Article 16. Even the KBP Broadcast Code, there's Article 1, Article 4, Article 5, Article 9, Article 30, Article 33. Sarili nating house rules din. Kasi hindi nila sinasabi yung totoo. Meron tayong Section 11C and 11E sa house rules natin. At mukhang ayon, kahit po sa Revised Corporation Code, mukhang ganon. So, we're simply really urging NTC na mukhang nagkakalokohan dito kasi may mga fraudulent aspects dito. Sino pa ba ang next natin makikitang manloloko? Sabi nga ni Atty. Mark, walang forever. Dahil po yun sa meron mga manloloko. At kung lolokohin ka, di ba, dapat hindi ka nagsistay sa isang toxic situation. So, ito na mukhang may panloloko at naloloko tayo, kaya nga may house rules. At, di ba, at mukhang lumalabas pa konti-konti at nagda-dodge sila sa pagsasagot ng mga tanong pag hindi nila masagot, Mr. Chair. Ang nakakatakot ay sino pa ba ang lolokohin kasi nila? Papayag po ba tayo na mandato natin to protect the people from misinformation, to protect people from people who are violating the laws? Papayag po ba tayo? Sana yung NTC, tingnan nyo mabuti to, na habang tinitingnan at inuungkat lahat ng mga violations, not just the franchise, na makita nyo naman, paunti-unting may nakikita tayong mga violations. Sana po, ay suspindihin nyo muna habang tinitingnan natin lahat po ng mga violations na nangyayari. I'm really hoping SMNI would be able to submit such documents or proof. Because if not, hindi po ba to SEC, this is grounds for canceling?
Ang ko lamang, ganito po, no? Dahil mayroon ng resolution, inaprobahan ng Kamara on second reading, ito, sponsored by Congresswoman Margarita Nograles. Well, karamihan dito, allegation lamang eh. Then they have to present proof doon po sa National Telecommunications Commission na indeed, itong Suarasug nag-violate ng kanyang prangkisa at ang violations na yan ay kailangan commensurate na penalty. Ang tinatawag nila ay recall ng provisional authority. Now, tingnan natin kung anong ebidensyang mapresentar doon. Iba ang hearing sa Kamara, in particular sa Committee on Legislative Franchises, iba rin ang hearing doon po sa National Telecommunications Commission. Doon kailangan may due process tayo. Dito po sa Kamara, medyo hindi tayo makasalita eh. Well, ito ang inisa-isa nila, contagion dito sa final ni Congressman Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez na House Bill. Yung House Bill na ito ay mag-repeal sa prangkisa ng Suarasug Media Corporation. Isa-isahin natin. Okay. Sabi nila, responsibility to the public. Di ba sinabi nila na ito daw, itong si Ka Eric Celis, ito daw ay may allegation siya na may 1.8 billion pesos na traveling expenses ang opisina ni Speaker Martin Romualdez. Tingnan natin ang batas mismo. Tingnan natin. Ano naman nakalagay dito? Ito po, willful misrepresentation or deliberate false information. So ang katanungan, anong nangyari ba? Deliberate o willful? Hindi naman eh. Hindi willful, hindi deliberate. Kung ang lahat na prangkisa ay kansilahin dahil po sa nakuryente ang angkor, aba, wala na pong matirang radio station sa kahanginan, sa ere. Hindi po, hindi ganun yun. Huh? Pangalawa, ang sabi nila, ang ano daw, ang Suarasug ay nagbenta ng isang controlling interest. No? At dahil may controlling interest yan, kailangan na kumuha ka ng prior approval ng Kongreso. Well, ano bang controlling interest? Ang controlling interest ay 50% plus. Hindi, 46% lamang eh. Maski yung anak ko na si Pipa, grade 1 yun, marunong magbilang yun. 46% is not 50% plus. Therefore, walang controlling interest na tinransfer. Therefore, hindi kailangan ang prior approval ng Kongreso. Pangatlo, itong sinabi nila na ano daw, kailangan daw ng cooperatives. Yes, no? Dispersal of ownership ang tawag doon. Kailangan ng cooperatives. Yung prangkisa po ng Suarasug ay wala naka-spell out na cooperatives. Yet, naglagay tayo ng isang kooperatiba doon. Pinapakita ito ng amended General Information Sheet sa taong 2023. Tingnan natin ang provision. Ang provision po ay nandyan po yan sa Section 11. Meron bang nakalagay dito sa provision ng Section 11 sa Republic Act 11422? Meron ba nakalagay dito timetable o deadline? Wala po. Ang prangkisang ito, inisyo po ito noong August 22, 2019. Ilang taon nakaraan? Well, 2023 ngayon. So 4 years ago pa lamang. May timetable man nakalagay ito? Wala po. So, ang sagot ko po, walang violation. Kasi hindi man yun nilagyan ng timetable eh. Kung naglagay kayo ng first year of operation, kailangan may gano'n na 30%. ibigay na sa isang kooperatiba, sumunod kami. In fact, ang mechanism para maipasok yan sa cooperatives, nandyan na po sa reported amended GIS for the year 2023. Sumulat po tayo, no, dito sa Kongreso, at sumulat din tayo dito sa Securities and Exchange Commission, sa SEC. Humingi tayo ng advice sa kanila. Wala naman silang reply eh. Yet the mechanism is already in the stockholders ng Suarasug Media Corporation. At saka isa pa pala, ilan ba nagko-comply dito sa mga franchises, sa mga franchise grantees? Alam mo po, sa totoo, karamihan hindi nagko-comply dito. Oh, bakit ang Suarasug Media Corporation lamang or ang SMNI ang gusto nila mag-comply dito? Nakakatuloy eh. Hindi ko tuloy malaman kung ano ang nasa isip nila eh. So maraming salamat po. Yan po ang aking sinasabi ng Vice President. Ito naman kay Congresswoman Nograles. Bago ko makalimutan sinasabi niya na noong 2006 daw or 17 years ago, okay, lumipat ang form ng korporasyon mula corporation aggregate to corporation sole. Okay? Corporation aggregate to corporation sole. Ibang klaseng corporation yan Both are religious corporations. Ano nangyari dyan? Hinihingi ni Congressman Nograles. Sabi niya, may picture ba kayo? Na may totoo ba na nagpapatunay na 2/3 vote, no, ay nakamit nung lumipat kayo from corporation aggregate to corporation sole? Kasi 2/3 ang nakalagay. Sabi yan, may prebas ba? Well, remember, itong prangkisang ito ay inisyo ito noong 2019. Ang tinatanong po niya, 2006. Wow, 2019, no? 2023 na. Ilan taon na ba nakaraan? 17 years.
Wow.
Congresswoman, kunin mo na lang yan sa SEC. Kasi inaprubahan kami ng SEC. Di ba? Ang trabaho po ng SEC, pag inaprubahan niya yan, it's entitled to respect. It's entitled to recognition.